welcome to episode 62 of the What Shara Made podcast. This is once again the second time I have filmed this episode. The first time I filmed this episode, I was at home and I had 3 little dogs with me, and they did not care that I was filming a podcast and they would not stop yelling in their doggy little ways. And I tried to edit out all the barking and it just wasn't working. I might try and rescue some snippets from that episode, but it might not happen. So I'm trying again with episode 62. So welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a big hello if this is your very first episode. I've got 2 whips and a couple of FOs and one little acquisition that you might have been wanting to see, I think. You might recognise this background if you are a long-time viewer. I'm in the back room of my beautiful local yarn shop. They're very good to me here. And I might just close the back door because there's actually a car park behind here and now I can hear cars. Hold on one moment. I'm back. So I'm filming here just because this was the only time I could get to refilm episode 62. So I might just dive in with my whips. This is my new travel project. Once again, it's socks because they're such a great travel project because they're really small and usually pretty brainless knitting. So that's usually good for travel. And I've got this. Isn't this magnificent? It's self-striping yarn, which is pretty obvious, and it's this gorgeous ball, and this is from Shara Made on Etsy. I actually bought this last year at the Hand Knitters Guild of Victoria market at the Coburg Town Hall. They have a market each year in May, and I purchased this from Shara Made, and I've been dying to knit it up. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. It's actually showing up on screen a little bit more neon than it is in real life. It's not quite so glary, but I've got some LED lights lighting me up here and it's blowing out the colours a bit more. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with the heel and the toe yet. I don't want to mess up the stripe sequence, but I haven't as yet found a heel and toe colour, so I might look around while I'm here at my local yarn shop and see if I can find something to do the heel and toe with, and see what I can do there. If I can't find anything suitable here, I've already had a look around in my stash and there's nothing that really works, because I want something fairly neutral. Because I don't want to detract from this gorgeous rainbow. It's so beautiful. Oh my god, I love it so much. And I don't know what base Shara Made uses, but it is gorgeous. It is seriously, oh my god, I love it. You might remember the pair that I knit last year. There was yellow, green and grey stripes. Oh, so beautiful. Oh my god, love them. Absolutely love them. I'm really enjoying knitting on these. Very popcorny, I'm sure you can imagine. And with such short stripes as well, it's really tempting to think, I'll just knit to the next colour, I'll just knit to the next colour, I'll just knit to the next colour, and suddenly you've knit, you know, a whole stripe sequence. So that's been a really quick and very enjoyable process so far. Thoroughly enjoying that. So that's my little travel project. Really been getting into that. I've got a bit of travel happening tomorrow, so I'll be knitting on these tomorrow. So that's that whip. My next whip is actually a bit of a design whip, and I have been hanging out to start this thing, and I had to get all my Christmas knitting and my Advent knitting and crochet out of the way before I could start this, because I wanted to dedicate everything to it. I think I needed to dedicate my entire brain to it, which is fine, and I have been. It required my entire brain, and oh my god, I'm so in love with it. I'll show you. I hope I haven't built it up too much now. So ignore all the ends, but this is what's happening so far. So I'll bring it in closer so you can get a good idea of what's going on. So this is my new shawl pattern. Ignore all those ends. I know, there's 5,000 of them, but it's all good. There's a I-cord along the edge, which is very helpful for hiding ends, so it's not too traumatic when you have to weave in all those ends. And I think I've said before, I actually quite enjoy weaving in ends. I like that process at the end of just sitting on the couch and that meditative process of weaving in the ends. I don't know, I actually enjoy it. But anyway, maybe I'm a freak. Maybe. So this is my new shawl, and that's what it looks like on the back. It's kind of the same on the back as it is on the front. I mean, it's not identical, but it's very similar. So it is asymmetrical. You could wear it any way you liked. I think the intention is going to be that you wear it like this when it's finished. I'm going to work as far as I can get with the yarn. So there's 3 100 gram, it'll be a 300 gram shawl, so you can make it with 3 100 gram skeins, probably a little less, but that's the intention. And I'll see how far I can get. If that ends up being too giant, because that's actually quite a large shawl, but it's still in the prototype phase at the moment, but yeah, so it's going like this. It's probably already at about 1 meter across the wingspan, and I'm not halfway through the yarn, so you could definitely get maybe, I don't know, that's too much maths. It's actually quite early in the morning at the moment while I'm filming. I can't do that much maths this early in the morning. So that's how this baby's gonna work. If I got all those tails out of the way, you might get a better idea of what it's going to look like. So it's going to be asymmetrical, a triangle with stripes and brioche and lace. All of those things at once. There's a lot going on. So it'll obviously benefit from a blocking, and because there is so much going on, you'd probably benefit from choosing at least one reasonably neutral colour or plainish colour, but you could probably go to more wild colours. It's not particularly obvious here, but this colour here is actually quite a beautiful hand-dyed colour. So what you're going to see here is another example of my incredibly poor yarn winding skills when I use a yarn winder. Hand winding, beautiful, amazing, quite spectacular in fact. Yarn winder. Why? Looks like a cat did it. Anyway, this is what I'm using, this weird thing. See, with these bits hanging off it. I don't know. Anyway, this is beautiful. It's actually showing up completely differently on the screen. In real life, it is this stunning, beautiful, the colourway is called Peach Pistachio, or Pistachio Peach. Anyway, those two words in some combination, and it's a Ren and Ollie yarn, and it is beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I'd been admiring it for I think several months, and finally I relented and purchased it, and have mixed it with this colour of the Woolganics yarn. So maybe if I hold it closer I'll get it better. No, it's really not showing up properly. So I've got this undyed natural colour as one of my colours, and then the orange in the same Woolganics as the other colour for my shawl. But of course, if you don't want to go a plain colour and two brighter colours, it's your shawl. You can go 3 crazy colours, of course, or you could go 3 sedate colours. It's your shawl, you do what you want. So I'm working on the pattern for that. We'll be calling for testers in the coming weeks, so keep an eye on Instagram. And I haven't thought of a name for it yet. I've got a couple of ideas. I always have a few ideas of working names, but yeah, I'm really enjoying working on it, and it'll be a few weeks before the pattern's ready for other people to work with it, but it's coming along, and I don't think it'll be too complicated. Just a matter of working each section individually. If you can knit, if you can purl, if you can do yarn overs, and if you can do basic brioche stitches, then you'll be able to do this. It's not scary. If you're able to concentrate on knitting, you can do it. So I'm really excited about it, and as I'm doing it I keep thinking of all the other colour combinations I can do, and of course once you start one idea you immediately start coming up with different ideas that roll on from that idea, and I'm of course thinking of new ideas spurring on from this one, and so there might be a few similar shawls coming along, and other pieces, so I'm really excited about that. So that's that whip. So they're both my whips. I've only got 2 active whips at the moment, so my little travel whip, my socks, and that shawl. I don't think that's really suitable for travel at the moment because it's starting to get a bit big, but that's okay. I'm happy to just sit at home and do that one. Now, onto my FOs. Well, my first FO, you would have seen this growing on Instagram. If you follow me there, you would have definitely seen this growing. Maybe I'll do the other one first because it'll make a bit more sense. I will. So this one, you would have also seen growing on Instagram, but this is the first time you would have seen it finished, I think. So this is my Nalia Advent Wrap, and this is one of my Advent patterns that I brought out the end of November 2017. I made 3 patterns to be used with Advent calendars. Of course you can use them with any yarn you like, but they work really well with Advent calendars as well. Yarn Advent calendars, in particular 10-gram yarn Advent calendars, because they seem to be the most common sort. But really you can just use them with any yarn you've got, and they work really well with small scraps for stash busting or brand new full skeins. You can do whatever you want. So here she is. a bit hard to show you the whole thing at once because it's huge, but I love the little tassels on the end. I'll put it on even though it's really hot. I wonder if I could get maybe 2 wraps out of this so you can see the tassels. That's my favourite bit, of course. So that's the Nalia wrap, and this is the crochet version of the Planina wrap, which is the knit version of this. So it's the exact same shape and everything, just this is the crochet version. And I had the Rosehip Knits or Rosehip Island advent calendar. I've got to take it off. I am literally cooking in this thing, but you get an example of what's happening with it. So I have been, I'm twisting it. I was trying to untwist it and I retwisted it. I've been wearing it around. So I've been doing a few different things with it, but I've been wearing it around like that, and then getting a bit dramatic and sort of wearing it sort of like that, and getting a bit arty, having the tassels sort of dangling around. But it started here with this colour, and so day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, all the way along. And you get a good look at all the colours. So beautiful. I loved every single colour. So I had the Rosehip Island yarn advent calendar, and every day I got a little skein, and pretty much every day I posted it on Instagram as well. And you could follow my progress on Instagram. You can pop back to Instagram now and have a look at it. And after I'd finished each section, I actually had a little bit of yarn left over, and there was no way I was going to let that go to waste. So I decided to make some socks with that leftover bit, and I made these socks. As you can see, they don't match. I started with this sock. You can see day 1 there, which is the same as day 1 here. So I started with this sock. I did them toe up so that I could knit until I ran out of yarn. So I knit the first 12 days of leftover yarn in this sock, and the next 12 days of leftover yarn in this sock, because there was 24 days in the advent calendar, or 24 mini skeins in the advent calendar. So yep. And I did the blueberry waffle pattern, my favourite sock pattern. You would know that's my go-to sock pattern. And you can see there, it worked really nicely. And I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I just had this green sock yarn in my stash hanging around, and it seemed to work nicely with all these colours. It looked cute. And I had so much fun knitting these socks. It was the best. I loved it. So that was these gorgeous babies. So they're my 2 FOs that I've got. And on the 25th day, so Christmas Day of the Advent calendar, there was a full skein from Rosehip Island, and it is gorgeous. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to use it because I love it so much. I know, ridiculous, right? Maybe one day the right pattern will come along. Look at it. Oh my god, I love it so much. And it is so Rosehip Island. It's called Magical, and there's all the details there of the yarn. It is so beautiful and it is so soft. Now, a couple of people have asked about whether I got my Christmas knitting finished that I talked about in the previous episode, in episode 61. Well, I almost got my Christmas knitting done. I got the scarf for my sister-in-law done, thank goodness, 2 days early. I got that, so I had 2 days to spare on that one. Got that done and blocked and finished and wrapped up, and it was great. I was a few days before Christmas, I was really worried that that was not going to get done. I was almost going to give up. And I got the little fingerless gloves for my nephew done. They got knitted on Christmas Eve, but they got knitted. But I did not get the socks, the green socks, finished in time to mail to my friend for Christmas. However, I did get those finished and I was able to give them to her as a New Year's Eve gift, because I spent New Year's Eve with her and they were all finished and done for New Year's Eve, and she absolutely loved them, and she was really excited to receive those. And when she opened up the package, she was like, "Oh, my favourites, hand-knit socks." So that was perfect. It didn't matter that they weren't ready for Christmas at all. But I will show you the scarf that I knit for my sister-in-law, and this is a new design that I will be bringing out, and I'm still in the process of finalising the pattern so that it's readable for other users, because it needs testing so that I can release it, and I'll be calling for testers in the next few weeks. So keep an eye on Instagram and Ravelry, and if you'd like to test it, here is a picture of it, maybe a few pictures of it. So that is the scarf there. It's a very long scarf, but of course it's easy to shorten or lengthen if you like an insanely long scarf. When you make scarves too long, they can actually become dangerous, and I'm not being dramatic there, they can actually become quite dangerous. Unless you're a very, very tall person, you want to be careful about the length of your scarf. So that scarf there was actually at a dangerous length for me, and it probably could have been shorter for my sister-in-law as well, because she's not that much taller than me, but she actually really loves a really long scarf, so she was really happy with the length of it. So she could wrap it around a few times, and on Christmas Day here, unusually for us, it was quite cool, and she actually wore it around quite a bit, so that was good. She really enjoyed it, and she said she's been wearing it quite a bit. We've had a few cool days between Christmas and New Year's, which was nice, and some really cool evenings, so that was good. So that got finished. I did have to do some pretty crazy long hours with the knitting, but I don't care. I'm not complaining about that, because like, I'm mad about knitting. That was fine. She liked the colour choices, that was great. The yarns were really nice to knit with, really easy, worked beautifully with brioche. I loved it. I'm really happy with that pattern. It was a really nice, easy to work pattern. Not necessarily easy to memorize, but brioche is really easy to read. It's really easy to read your work and see what you're up to. And action was only happening on one side. It was all cool. It was nice. It was a really enjoyable piece to work on. And then I made my nephew's fingerless gloves, and it didn't take too much working out. I did start with one design first, and I knit almost a whole glove in one design, and then decided against that design because it really wasn't working out the way I had imagined it. It didn't look as good as I was hoping, so I didn't pull that out, but I did start another design. So I kept it just in case and started a second design, and the second design was much better. It looked much better. It was working beautifully, so I just kept going with that second design, and it worked up quite quickly, thank goodness, because I was running out of time. And luckily he's only got little hands, and they actually fit my hand. I actually kind of modelled them on my hands, and I actually could have made them a little bit bigger because they were a tiny bit tight on my hands, and I underestimated how big his hands were. His hands are sort of the same size as mine, but a little bit pudgier. And they could have been a little bit bigger, but never mind. They fit him. He absolutely loved them, and he wore them all day on Christmas Day, and apparently he's been wearing them a lot since, so that's fine. I was so happy with that design that I thought to myself, I'm going to write this up. I love it. It's great. It's a really good, quick, easy pattern that would convert well as a kid's pattern, a ladies pattern and a men's pattern. And I was really pleased with it. Scrolling through Instagram just randomly, and I thought, that's weird, and I saw a pair of fingerless gloves that was almost identical. Not identical, not entirely identical, but pretty much identical, that I'd never seen before, but just happened to be pretty much identical. So I don't know whether I will bother writing that pattern out, but never know. There are a few differences in my pattern and this pattern, but it might look like I've tried to copy this pattern if I release my pattern, and I don't want that to accidentally happen. Now, I haven't copied that pattern. It was just one of those things where you both think of the same thing, but and it was a stitch pattern that fits really nicely into fingerless gloves because of the ratios and things like that, but doesn't matter. But I better show you a picture so you've got a visual of what's going on, what I'm talking about. So I will show you a picture, but because they're knit in the bright red yarn, and if you've ever tried to photograph anything that's bright red, you'll know that red is notoriously tricky to photograph because it blows out, it saturates and it blows out, both in film and in digital photos if you are old enough to have taken photos on film. But anyway, here is a picture of the gloves. So those are the gloves. I really like them, and I'll probably knit more. And I don't think I actually showed you a picture of the New Year's socks that I finished. They weren't quite Christmas socks, but New Year's socks, that's good enough for me. So I better show you a picture of those finished as well. You might have already seen them on Instagram, but here they are again, just in case. So that's those socks finished. I was very happy with those. I'm actually looking forward to knitting another pair of those because I bought another ball of that yarn while I was in Bendigo late last year. And I think that is everything to do with all my projects so far. I think I've actually talked about everything. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. But the last thing I need to talk about is my year-long stash busting craft along, you would have seen if you've popped into the Ravelry group recently that I've closed the 2017 thread, but I've opened up a new thread for 2018. So the same thing's happening again this year, all the same rules, everything the same. Check it out, you'll see all the same information in the 2018 thread. It's all at the start. If you've got any questions, you can ask me in the Ravelry group, but not in that thread because it's strictly for FO photos. So you can either send me a direct message or you can put it in another thread in the Ravelry group. You'll see other appropriate threads there, but probably just send me a direct message. That's the easiest way to get a quick response from me because I get alerted to those a bit quicker. And the last thing I need to do is draw a winner for the December year-long Stash Busting Craft Along prize, pattern prize, for the whole of 2017. And thank you so much to everyone who entered that, who posted a picture of, if it was just one FO or you posted squillions of FOs, because some people did, which is amazing, in that thread. Congratulations to everyone. All the FOs are gorgeous. If you need some inspiration, pop in and have a look at that thread because it is just full of beautiful, beautiful pictures. Oh, so many things in there. I have to restrict myself from looking at it for too long or I add things to my queue. It's dangerous. Just a warning there. So if you can see your name here right now, congratulations. And because it was the very last one, you can pick any three patterns, any three individual patterns from Ravelry that you like, and let me know the names of them. Or maybe if you like an ebook on Ravelry, maybe there's an ebook you like on Ravelry instead of three individual patterns. If your name's there, send me a message and I will send either the ebook on Ravelry that you like or the three patterns that you like on Ravelry, and they'll be yours. I'll send them to you on Ravelry. So congratulations and thank you very much to everyone who entered, and let's start again for 2018. Let's bust those stashes, use up all the beautiful yarn that we have just languishing. Don't let it sit there for another year. Use it. Use it. It's not doing anyone good sitting hidden away in a basket or a box or a drawer or a cupboard. Use it. Get it out there. I'm also telling that to myself, so not just you, that's for me as well. And I hope the weather is being kind to you. I know the weather is being crazy everywhere. I know lots of my friends in North America are really getting some crazy cold weather at the moment, and us here in the southeast of Australia are really getting some warm weather. Yesterday it got to 45 degrees Celsius at my place and it was gross. Yeah, thankfully it's only about 28 degrees here today Celsius, and it's really muggy though, it's really humid. I can handle that after yesterday. This is beautiful. And it's gonna be in the mid 30s for the rest of the week, but that's fine. I can handle that. So I hope you all have a really crafty, beautiful, relaxing week, doing all your favourite things, talking to all your favourite people, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.